watching Business Trends Today exclusively on ASBN.
On Business Trends Today, we're talking about something every leader is feeling right now: pressure to drive results without burning out their teams in the process. What if high performance and well-being aren't opposites? What if the key to both is science? Joining us is Dr. Sherry Yellin, best-selling author, executive coach, and founder of the Yellin Group. With a PhD in cognitive learning, she integrates neuroscience with practical leadership strategies. She's the author of Unforgettable Leadership and her upcoming book, The Science of High Performance Leadership: 7 Brain-Based Strategies to Become a Leader Worth Following. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us on the show today.
Oh, it's so fun to be here.
Yeah, fantastic. So let me ask you, your new book, The Science of High Performance Leadership. You say driving results and reducing burnout is a mystery, or I should say it isn't a mystery, it's a science. What do you mean by that?
It really boils down to recognizing that the greatest piece of technology that comes in and out of our workplaces and our homes every day is this 3-pound universe right here. And we can work with it and we can get better results with less effort, or we can work against it and we can create all sorts of unnecessary costs and pain that, quite frankly, can impact generations.
Yeah.
And it's recognizing that just like we work with how our phones were designed to work and our computers, it's important that we know how our brains work best and that we work in alignment with that.
Yep, makes sense. You said the greatest one thing a leader can do is minimize threat. Why is threat so powerful in the brain and so damaging in the workplace?
The number one question your brain is always asking is, am I safe?
Yeah.
And certain brains need different things sometimes to feel safe. Mm-hmm. Some brains need control to feel safe. Okay. Some brains need to feel liked to feel safe. Some brains need to feel like everything is accurate and precise to feel safe.
Yeah.
But threat, truly, when there is negative threat, and I'd like to talk about that a minute. When there is negative threat, it severely compromises the part of our brain that allows us to self-regulate, to think creatively and innovatively, which is what we want our leaders and our employees to do. It also compromises the part of our brain that allows us to see from different perspectives, to engage in conversations where there may be disagreement, but we're still collaborating.
Okay.
So when your brain is safe, all of those abilities are easily accessible. But when your brain is compromised by negative threat, then all of those abilities go offline. And what we see instead is division, defensiveness, a commitment to being right at any cost, which obviously does not result in good business or personal outcomes.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. How should leaders recognize this when this is in existence among your staff and your team?
Well, really pay attention, because there are external signs of internal threat.
Okay.
It might be defensiveness. It might be you're seeing silos. You might be hearing an us against them mentality. Or you hear nothing. You hear silence in meetings because people don't feel safe to challenge ideas or to even offer up something new. And so you can also sometimes hear it in people's language. When the brain is under threat, you'll hear people start talking in terms of either or, because they just can't see options.
Sure.
The good news is most of the time, negative threat is fueled by 3 characteristics. One is that there's some level of uncertainty or confusion.
Okay.
It's true, your brain really doesn't even resist change. It resists confusion or uncertainty.
Interesting.
So identify where there may be confusion and uncertainty, because the solution to that is provide clarity. Or even ask, what additional clarity can I provide?
Okay.
Can lower threat And a small change to your brain can have a tremendous result
Yeah.
to what shows up. A second characteristic of negative threat is when I don't feel like I have a lot of choice, voice, or agency over something. So the solution to that as a leader is where you can involve people in decisions that affect them. It is worth the extra time. It is worth the extra effort to listen, to get involvement, because you're not only lowering threat, but you're increasing accountability and ownership, and you're creating an environment where people feel safe to bring forward ideas.
Yeah.
And then that third characteristic is, for some reason, the default setting for most brains is to go to worst case scenario. And so
That's me.
the third characteristic is when something has happened, maybe there's a new process or we're merging organizations.
Sure.
The brain just automatically goes to all the bad things that's
Sure.
going to happen. So the fix to that is for leaders to continually hold up a positive vision, hold up what winning looks like
Right.
when we navigate this change or this process.
Yeah. And there's no question about it. And I happen to fall into that. I think probably a lot of other entrepreneurs do as well. Something happens, you go, oh, that's it. We're going to lose that account. We're going to lose this. We're going to lose that. That person's going to quit. We need him so badly. And as my wife often reminds me, she'll say, what if it works out? You've got all of the options here as to it not working out, but what if it works out, you know? And it's funny how just that one little question can change my way of thinking. You go, oh yeah, I went right away to it not working out, but what if it does work out? What does that look like? You know, to your point, what does winning look like? And remind the team of that. So a lot of leaders still rely on pressure to push performance. The good old way of, you better do this or you're fired, or you're not going to get your bonus, or you're not going to get your time off, or you're going to be in the doghouse with us if this happens. And what does that research say about when pressure helps and when it actually backfires?
That's a good point, because not all threat is bad. Not all threat is negative. Some of it's very motivating. I would challenge that leader. If I were coaching that leader, I would challenge them to think about where they adopted that belief.
Okay.
That approach actually got them better results. Because it may have at one point or another.
Yeah.
But you have to recognize what's the result that we're going for now. Because if the result back then was compliance, we'll apply the pressure and tell people what to do. You're likely going to get compliance.
Yeah.
But if the result that you're looking for is commitment and loyalty and engagement and ideas, then it's time to challenge the belief that that approach is going to get you that same result.
Yeah.
And we see this every day. Leaders default, we all do it, but leaders, especially under pressure, default to what feels familiar.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And so we want to practice these things when the pressure is not so high.
Right.
When the stakes aren't quite so high.
Sure.
Maybe shifting where you're listening 10 seconds longer before you give the solution. Or you invite an idea from some different perspective, but in situations where your brain's not under threat. Because COVID was probably the best case study of those three characteristics coming together for everyone for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And that year we see people fighting over toilet paper, and then the end of the year we're storming the Capitol. So what we got to recognize as a leader is you have a tremendous responsibility to not allow all that pressure to hit all of us at the same time.
Right.
And to be working on your own emotional regulation and resilience. You mentioned a second ago the power one question can have. And one question I always want leaders asking in those high pressure situations is, what meaning am I giving this? Because you can give those situations whatever meaning you want, but the meaning you give it is going to drive your behavior, your response, and ultimately your outcome and the belief that other people are going to have about you.
That's right.
So it's a subtle question, but the sooner we can ask that, the faster we get in the driver's seat of our life and the results we want to create.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. Very good point. If a leader watching today wants to make one immediate change to reduce burnout and elevate results, where should they start? Other than buying your book, by the way.
Yeah, this is a great place to start.
That's right.
I would say making sure that your calendar has enough white space on it so that you get those moments to deregulate,
Okay, good
to
point.
process, to think, because a lot of things can be made cheaper, better, faster, but the human brain is not one of them. And especially when your product is ideas and solutions and innovation, that's what leaders bring to the table.
Yeah.
You've got to give your brain the right environment to process that. And if it's always plugged in and always connected, it's not going to do it. You're going to lose your cool.
Yep.
You're going to really stay in your own brand. So having space in your day, and even if that is 10 to 15 minutes,
Yeah.
to disconnect goes a long way.
Yes, there's no question about it. It's phenomenal advice, and I too have used this. I try to use it every day, and it makes a huge difference. You're absolutely right. But so many people are running and gunning. They don't think they have time for it. They don't really spend as much time on themselves as they need to. To your point, just to kind of sit and think about things rather than jumping into the next conversation or the next event, right?
Yes, pausing is as much of a muscle we have to build
Good
as
point.
anything else that you would do in the gym. It's not going to happen on accident.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to build it by watching you do it.
Right. Yeah. Very, very good point. Very good point.
It really becomes a discipline.
Yeah, no question. Dr. Yellin, thank you so much for your insights today. I know that our viewers are going to get a lot out of them. Again, her new book is The Science of High Performance Leadership, 7 Brain-Based Strategies to Become a Leader Worth Following, which is, I think, something all of us want to do as leaders. There's no question about it. We're going to make it very easy for you to get a copy of your own book. There's a link right below the video that you're currently watching. Click that click that link, I should say, and it will take you right over to get your copy, which I highly recommend you do. So, Dr. Sherry Yellin, thank you so much for joining us today. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it too.
Thanks for watching Business Trends Today exclusively on ASBN.